Hey y'all. Oh, hold on, let me grab my water. Sorry. I got my little blankets all behind me. I keep the blanket towel. Anyway, welcome back to the Let's Talk About Life podcast. I am your host, your girl Sheena, and we're gonna get right into it because I got about 20 minutes. By the time my oven go off with these brownies, I want to be finishing on up, child, because I got a couple other things I gotta do tonight. Um, Yeah, welcome. And I hope everybody's had a great day. It is Sunday, so I'm back on track. I want to say last week I ended up doing my recording on Monday. Or maybe that was the week before, but anyway, it's Sunday and I'm actually not super exhausted for once, which is good. I still got that good nap in on today because I always get me a nap in after church. Yeah, anytime I'm up and I'm around and I ain't got no earrings on, then your girl then took a nap. But I am feeling good. Like I said, I got my brownies in the oven. So let's get started. Today, what I want to talk about real quick is I just want to talk about um, the fact that every man that you meet is not your husband. And when I say you, this is definitely for me. This is something that I just want to lay out so that when I come back to it eventually at some point, um, it'll be something that I can kind of just remind myself of because these are things that I have thought, but I have not truly like put them down in one place, if you will, or really said out loud. Not all together, if that makes sense. But it's been a lot of days of reflection for me lately. I am currently single, and um, I do definitely want to be in a relationship one day, and I want to be married. And what what has happened in my single season? Hold on, y'all, because it's always something I want to pop up on this computer as soon as I get to talking. Um, what I've been doing in this season of singleness is I've been getting closer to God, and what it has caused me to do is it has caused me to be able to reflect on a lot of different things, a lot of past actions, a lot of the thought processes that I was having, during the times of, the previous little small relationships. I've really just been in like one serious relationship, and that was with my kid's father. We were together for 17 years. Um, we've been broken up for what, maybe 6 years now. So in the past 6 years of me like truly being single, because I mean technically you're single if you're not married, but you know what I mean. I've had some little situations and whatnot that have, as I sit back in this season, the more healed version of myself, I am able to like really reflect. So I just want to kind of put this stuff out here, like I said, more so for me, but you never know who you're gonna bless or who can relate, or um who is thinking something similar and just needs somebody to confirm it, if that makes sense. So like I'll start with my kid's father, baby daddy, for how we would say, which that's something I've tried to get away from because it's with blue child is so ghetto. But anyway, like I said, we were together for 17 years. We got together when I was very young. I was 17, he was 20. First relationship, first guy to ever really show me that kind of attention. Lost my virginity to him, got pregnant the first time I had sex. So we truly had um we grew up together. That's what I'm gonna say. We grew up together. Um, and there was a time when I loved that man last year draws, if I could just be honest. And then as we grew up, um, we just began to grow on different levels, I'll say. Or we began to grow differently. And this is not to bash him. I'm not going into any details or anything like that. But I remember there was a time where, especially early on when we broke up, is I used to say, because I wasted 17 years. I wasted all of this time and da da da. Da. And what ended up happening, and this is probably within the past 2 years or so, the Lord made me almost bite a whole chunk of my tongue. Okay. Because one of the things that I had to learn is that um God has brought me people in my life, men and women, but I'm specifically talking about the men tonight. He has brought men into my life who were there to serve a purpose at the time. Excuse me, whether it be uh a quick lesson, a long lesson, whatever the case might be. My kid's father, and it's funny, side note, pastor was just talking about today in church. He was essentially saying how, you know how you know how you look up and you feel like you chose wrong, like you chose the wrong person to have your kids with, and all of the things. And of course he was saying like, don't even nod. Don't throw your hand up. Don't wave. Don't do nothing. Just stare at me because your kid's probably looking. And in this case, me and my kid's father, we go to the same church. We sit on the same row, all of the things. But as I was sitting there listening to Pastor, I thought to myself, I didn't choose wrong for my kid's father. Now that I think about it, are there some things that I wish that he was different in when it comes to raising our sons? Yes. But I'm sure he could say the same thing about me because I'm not perfect. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the greatest mom. But we out here doing the best that we can with the tools that we have, and the way that we've been raised and the things that have been shown to us. And now our sons are 21 and 22. And we did damn good. We did damn good, right? I see him and I see me in them all the time. And for the most part, I'm not mad. You know what I'm saying? So to be honest, on that aspect, I can honestly say that I did good. I chose good, and he chose good as well. We did good. We did good. We've raised two very well-rounded, very like I can't even really explain them. I want to say that they're low key, they're old souls. They are advice givers. They are the people that in their circles that are going to be the ones to be voices of reasons. They love music, and I mean like older. Well, Glee like anything he can dance to. But George likes R&B, and we're all avid music lovers. But yeah, they have turned out to be great young men, and it is because of my influence, but it is also because of their dad's influence. So on that level, I can honestly say that I didn't choose wrong. And the time that we spent together was not a waste of my time. It was more so life lessons. It allowed me to grow up. I'm sure he probably feels the same way. It allowed me to grow in ways that I wouldn't have otherwise. It allowed me to come into the woman that I am today. It allowed me to learn how to do things on my own, because like I said, a lot of the things that I've learned relationship wise on like who I would be in a relationship now, sadly I learned it after him because I was a baby and I was in survivor mode the whole time we were together. So I didn't really get the opportunity, like I wasn't who I would be today, I'll say that. I've learned more about that. Now look, if it ain't my allergies acting up, it's my neck and my skin and stuff wanting to feel like I got a rash or something, and they ain't did nothing but put this daggone hair down. But anyway, I done got distracted. But yeah, what was I saying? But yeah, I've really just learned a lot. And one of the things that I've realized and I've had to come to terms with, that even though we aren't together, and even though things didn't work because we started kind of going in different directions, and we weren't really on the same page in a lot of things, um I know that God brought him to me, one, because that the boys had to get here, right? And they are here definitely because they're supposed to be here. Um, and because it allowed me to grow in a way that maybe I wouldn't have if I had met him. And then also, let me go back to very, very early on. When I first met this man, I was living with my best friend, and her mom was letting us do all of the things. Okay, we was partying, we was whatever we wanted to do. We just had to make sure we let her know what we was doing. And baby, I'm gonna be honest with you, I unfortunately, with the group of people that I was hanging around with, I was on my way to being a serious drug addict. I was, like I said, I was very young. I had the opportunity to try a lot of things. Now I only smoked weed and I only drank during that time, but there was always, for one, I was doing it in such a way. I was doing it in such a way that, like, I was throwing up all the time. Like, I was really just one, we were super young, so we shouldn't have been doing it at all. But I was doing it in such a way that, I was getting sick and I was just being sloppy with it and all of that. And then also with these people, there was always an opportunity to do harder drugs, acid. I feel like that's the only powder, anything, but it always seems like there was some kind of divine intervention, whether it be my sister popping up out of nowhere at these people's house that she had never met before, saying, I'm looking for my sister right before I'm getting ready to eat the cookie that got the acid on or whatever. Or in this case, it ended up being my kid's father. He ended up being that voice of reason, kind of, because my best friend's mom was not that. I remember when me and her smoked the weed together. I think it was my first time smoking, and I smoked with her. Um, but he saved me. I'm just gonna keep 100. He saved me, and then just in case I wasn't all the way trying to be saved, we had sex. I got pregnant with George, and that was all she wrote. Right? Once I held him in the hospital, I remember just holding him, looking down on his little peely skin, and I said, "Man, I mean, cute. He was George. George was that most handsome baby I've ever seen in my life. Hopefully, nobody takes offense to that. Um, he was quiet. He was calm. Um, but what he did was, because I ain't no reason to be crying over this. Um, it made me realize that I was responsible for somebody else besides myself. Like, it really sank in. So it really changed the trajectory of my life. Um, I still smoked for years and years and years. Um, and I still drank and stuff like that. But what it kept me from doing, it was like the binge drinking and the just partying and feeling like I got alcohol poisoning and throwing up on myself and all of the ridiculous things I was doing. So again, I say all of that to say, um, whether or not me and my kid's father are together or not, or whether we worked out or not, I do know that God sent him to me for a reason, and I am grateful, right? And it took me a long time to come to terms with that, because a lot of times when you break up with somebody, you want to focus on the bad, or you want to focus on the fact that stuff didn't work, but you know what I mean? The same way that I'm a good person, he's a good person. And yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then we got this grandbaby. And let me tell you something, because the babies will let you know. And my girl loves me, okay? When I say she loves to me, and she be stuck to me like glue, except for when grandpa is around, okay? Because when we go and we pick up grandpa for church, she be back there hollering, Grandpa, Grandpa, it's grandpa. All of that, girl, I'm like chopped liver, okay? She don't care nothing about me when he's around. And I know it is because of the love that he shows her and all of the things, right? So again, uh, not my husband, but I do know that God brought him to me for a reason, which is what that's like the whole purpose of this, is that I have realized that sometimes God, he put people, he put people, including men sometimes, in your lives for other reasons besides them being your person. You know what I'm saying? And that's something, I'm always, oh, this might be my person. Oh, but now your girl's starting to realize that, that's just not always the case. Next person I want to talk about. So this is, and I'm not like, I ain't saying no names, but this one I'm just gonna say married guy number one. Married guy number one came around right at the end of my relationship with my kid's father. What I thought it was going to be, honestly, as I thought it was going to be a sexual experience. I thought that he was in an open relationship, so I thought we were just gonna have this experience. You know what I mean? I was getting out of one thing, jump straight into something else. um I you know what I'm saying, really, I guess just to almost, almost, it kind of, I don't want to say it kind of pushed me to be brave enough to leave my kid's father, only because I thought I was gonna be with him forever. We had been together for so long. I to be honest, I was even willing to. I thought we was gonna cheat. Yeah, he was married, but he had an open situation. I was gonna be with baby daddy, and we was probably gonna do whatever, and that was gonna be in, and we was gonna take it to the grave if I could just be 100% right. Um, but what it did was it was a situation that just made me realize, well, maybe the situation that you in ain't really the situation for you, and that, you know what I mean, and that's what the kid's father. And because I had been sick and tired of being sick and tired for quite some time, but I just really was afraid to take that extra step, and I was very afraid of the unknown and what that looked like. And then I also was very worried about what life would look like for my kids. But yeah, so that kind of pushed me over the edge of like getting over the fact of um like I can't, there's no life after this original guy, right? And yes, I do believe that God, like, again, God don't bring you nobody else husband for you to be all in love with and be in a relationship. He don't do that. But he meet you where you are. And I do believe that I was introduced into the situation, or maybe it was the devil. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I don't have all the answers. However, the situation was, I do know that it was a wake up call for me to realize that, wow, if this person can bring more to your table, and they got a whole family and all of that, then you got to realize that your original table at home is lacking, and you need to do something different. Now sadly, in this case, I didn't take it. It wasn't a situation where I just had said sexual experience and went on about my business. Your girl, if I'm nothing else, I'm a lover at heart, okay? Your girl fell in love. The guy wanted to fall in love. We even tried to, you know what I'm saying, introduce the wife all into it and all the things, and had a whole situation, little throuple kind of situation going on, which was hindsight being 2020, it was absolute trash. Simply because you never ever ever want to be playing around in somebody's relationship like that. You do not want to take on soul ties like that, especially when people's mental health is questionable, mine included. And especially when, like I said, the Lord did not, I know now that the Lord did not bring me anybody else's husband. Okay. I don't care how it feels, what it seems like, how much they stare in you in your eyes and tell you they love you. And oh, I'm just, I'm just gonna stay in this because they got all of the excuses. But at the end of the day, you gotta realize, or I had to realize that, you know what I'm saying? Girl, he just using you, girl. He just using you for what you are willingly giving, and then he getting what he can from his wife too. So again, um, do I think it was a situation I had to go through? Yes. Was that guy my husband? Absolutely not, because he already had his wife. You know what I'm saying? Um, Another situation. Now this one is funny. Like this speaks to manifestation. So for all of us girls out here that believe in manifesting and all of the things, this next guy was literally like, he was somebody, I don't even know how he ended up popping up. Like, this is when I was on Facebook. I don't even know how he popped up on Facebook. And we were Facebook friends. Again, not even sure how that happened. I think it was during a season where um I was kind of accepting anybody's Facebook requests. Um because there was, yeah, anyway, there was a time they posted something, get you an Erica Badu instead of get you an Erica Badu instead of a Megan Thee Stallion, or something along those lines. And when I tell you, just based off of my little Facebook profile pic, I got my hair wrapped up in scarves, blah blah blah. I got so many friend requests around that time. But anyway, and normally I'm not even one to just accept anybody's request, but I was like, F it, whatever. But anyway, um, I started just kind of watching him, the videos he was posting with his sons. He was cooking. He seemed like a well-rounded kind of guy, working all of the things. And I literally was watching something that he posted one day. And I was like, Lord, let me get this one. I don't know him from the man in the moon. And I said, you know what, Lord? Let me get this one. Let me get this one. He seemed like a good guy. Child, a little bit of time passed by and he hits me up on Messenger, okay? Long story short, we end up talking a little bit and we end up kind of like talking on the phone. Great conversation. He was younger than me, but I think I've mentioned him before and just spoke to. Very mature for being younger than me. Probably one of the most mature guys that I've ever been in any kind of a relationship with. And then because maturity comes with your lifestyle and the things that you've been through and all of that. Um, yeah, just we had great conversation. Uh I always used to say that my love for him was a very mature love because it wasn't childish. It wasn't like the butterflies and I just can't and I just can't think, I felt very content with him. I felt like I could picture everyday life with him in the future. I could see us building. He felt like home to me. That's what I used to always tell him. You feel like home. Um you feel like a safety net. You know what I mean? Like comfort. You know what I mean? And all of the things. And it wasn't just like hot-headed, head over heels in love where, you know what I mean? Like I hadn't thought it through. I was just, I ain't think like the man ain't got nothing going on. And I'm just, or something crazy. He married, he whatever, and you just head over heels in love with him like you even got a chance. And like you would even want to have a chance. Because girl, if you're cheating on his wife to talk to you, then what kind of what what you think gonna happen to you, girl? Um, but yeah. And then, as time went on, our first time around, I wasn't quite ready because I was still hung up on the married guy. And then when I wasn't hung up on the married guy, I was trying to mess with this other guy just because he was another one that I had manifested and he popped up and I thought and yeah, and he definitely wasn't the one. Um Second, we kind of fell off. We stayed friends. Came back around. The second time, he wasn't ready. He had started messing with some young girl, and even though they had broke up, the ties were super thick, and it was some crazy stuff going on. And actually, he's the one I brought him up before. We like I mean we're up. Hold on, y'all. See, because I've been talking too long. I just heard my cookies beep. Hold on 1 second. Let me go take them out of the oven. Okay, y'all. My bad. I said I won't be long, but I've been running my mouth. Brownies have been secured and they are out of the oven. I have them on the countertop cooling off. So yeah, I don't even remember exactly what I was saying, but again, um, obviously with said guy, it ended up not working out. Like I said, I did bring him up before where we still stay friends. And I say that to the point, like, I mean, we definitely don't talk every day, but like he's not blocked or anything. There's no bad blood whatsoever. There's no bad blood. And if he was to call, like, he's one of those people, when I say a true, genuine friend, none of my friends I really talk to every day or really often. But when you do pick up and have a conversation, it's like you pick up, we talk forever, whatever. Um, we kind of had started talking again, just like friendship, what just chit chatting or whatever. And then life just be life, and we're both extremely busy now, so we couldn't even like hang or anything, which is fine, whatever. Look, the Lord works how he want to work. Um, and then it came down to him sending me a crazy text message and me essentially reaching out, not even crazy, but just putting his feelings out in the text after us not having spoken in a few months. Like I said, just based off of timing and our schedules, he's recently started a business. I do a lot of volunteering at my church and plus working and things, and then I be having my grandbaby on the weekends. So yeah, I reached out like, listen, this is something that is conversation worthy, only because he don't even like to text. So, and he couldn't get the words together for whatever reason, signs from the Lord. And I literally said, well, you need to tell the Lord to give you what to say. And I ain't heard from him again. So as I've been praying for these counterfeits to be removed from my life, or for me to be removed from anybody's life if I'm the counterfeit, the Lord must have told him to go ahead and leave that girl alone. And like I said, I feel like I've said that before, but either way, Again, somebody that was brought into my life. A lot of men sometimes are brought into my life, I think, just to kind of show me what could be or how things should be, how I should be going about things, to teach me certain things. Because like I said, he was just very, like I said, just a very smart guy, very smart, very knowledgeable. Somebody how like, how you want to have somebody that you can just be like, hey, I'm thinking about getting into this. What you think about it? And somebody that's gonna give you good advice or really think it through. He was that kind of a guy. And I know every woman don't like that. But one thing that I will say is a lot of times I've been that person for people where I'm always the voice of reason. I'm always the person that thinks every through. I'm always the one that thinks about, you know, everything from all around the situation, all of the possibilities, all of that. So it was very nice to have someone where I could almost show up not using any of my brain cells and say, I want to talk this out. I want to know what you think about it. How should I move? What should I do? And know that they're going to be thinking about what's in my best interest as opposed to, you know what I mean? Just kind of, I don't know, you got it, you always, or whatever, or, I come to you for that kind of thing. So, again, sometimes you think the man is going to be your person, but they're almost teaching you lessons of either what not to do in your relationship, maybe, or not what I can't even get it out. Maybe not so much what not to do, but things to be on the lookout for, or things to say, okay, if you like this with this person, then that's something that you should look forward to in your relationship, right? Like almost kind of setting different standards without the all of the seriousness that comes along and the ties that comes along with the relationship, because you're able to start just kind of seeing, okay, like these are the type of things that I look forward to in my male friends, which I don't really even have these days. I don't have many male friends. I have a couple brothers in Christ that I have good conversations with, that I go to church with, but outside of that, I don't have many male friends, because typically it's very easy for that to lead into more. It's easy for you to create mental relationships in your head where one party or the other starts getting feelings, and then you feel like you moving or working towards something, and you really not, or whatever the case might be. And I'm really just not on that kind of time. Like I said, I'm really trying to get to the point that I'm not doing anything to block what I know God has for me, and I already know me. And you got to know yourself. To thine own self be true. I already know me. I already know how I can get wrapped up or begin to create something, and allow feelings to grow out of nowhere and manifest. So I'm walking a very, 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 very thin line these days of just who I entertain, who I talk to, what I allow myself to be exposed to, who I allow myself to be exposed to, who I talk to, and all of the things. Um, but yeah, so on to this okay, so this this next guy, um it's funny because he came around at a time, again, speaking on manifestation. One first, like our first time around, this was during the pandemic. I met him at the daggone, I was at Bojangles looking a hot, when I tell y'all, a hot mess. Okay. A hot mess. But he said something to me as I was ordering my bowl rounds or whatever I was ordering. We exchanged a couple words or whatever. Very Oh, I think he might have said you got nice eyes. I don't know. We was masked up then. I had the scarf on. I had the paint splattered sweats on. I looked a mess. I said thank you, whatever. Anyway, long story short, I got outside. He walked up to the car, introduced himself, asked me could he have my number. I gave it to him, blah, blah, blah. By the time I had got home, he had texted me a few times, and I was already like, he might not be the one. And listen, did I trust my gut in that situation? Absolutely not. I still continued. Like I text him back. We only had a texting relationship. Like we only text and stuff. We ended up being pretty cool friends, hung out every once in a while, nothing too I'm not really looking for no pen pal, and I'm not looking for no whole bunch of male friends. So when I realized that one, we were texting and our texting conversation was not giving what I needed it to give. Um, because I like deep conversation. If we're not talking on the phone, fine. But I need you to be prepared to type something up in your text message, because just asking me the same 3 questions every day, that's not gonna cut it for me. Because again, like I said, I don't need no pen pals. I'm not in the 5th grade, 6th grade. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing good. How you doing? You doing good? My day is going good. If the kids is good, if that's all you asking, we can knock that out. I can say that for the week, because we always doing good. So there's nothing else to talk about. But we kind of fell off. And then I started feeling like, how you hear those messages, like, hear people say, different preachers, whatever. Not this is I'm sure my pastor has said this, but this is not a specific message from him. But you know how they'll be like, the Lord send you who you need, and then you want to find one thing wrong with them, and then you know what I'm saying. Then you wonder why you still saying. So I started feeling like, because overall he was a really really good guy. When I had been sick with vertigo, he came and he sat with me, and again I was looking a hot ass mess because I was sick. I could barely shower. I was making life decisions, even getting up to use the bathroom. I was laid around in just like tights and a tank top. I don't know. A child. Okay. He came, he brought me food. We did smoke, but that was my choice. We smoked, we watched movies. Um, yeah, gentleman, gentleman. But again, to be honest, I wasn't really feeling him from the jump. He was not handsome to me. And to be honest, typically the men that I do like are not extremely handsome, because that's not what I'd be looking for. It's not about the looks for me at all. At all. It's truly who you are as a person. But it was just something that I don't want to say he was too nice, but it was just something that was off. And he wasn't assertive enough for me. And I don't need no man that I can run over top of or feel like not that I am aggressive, or how people say like, oh, I'm not aggressive, I'm passionate, nothing like that. But I want to know that you're the man. Okay. And mm, on that level, I just wasn't feeling him. But then fast forward, and some time went by, maybe a year, some time. But then I started being like, I had all of this yard work to do. When I think back on it, I feel terrible. But I had all of this yard work and stuff to do, and I was really trying to get the house together. And I started just being like, Lord, I just need you to bring me somebody to help me. I need somebody to help me, because I can't do this stuff by myself. And let's see, I can't even say that. I want to say the Lord brought this one to me, but I can't even say that, because I reached out on my own accord. This man ain't reaching back out to me. I reached out just to say, hey, I don't even know how I prefaced it. Hey, blah blah blah. And he was receptive. Hey, friend, what you been up to? Blah 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 blah. We kind of picked up texting a little bit. I started talking about whatever I needed to get done, and boom, now he's willing to come and help me clear out the back of my yard, all of the things. And over the course of a summer, this was not last summer, but this not last summer, but the summer before, somebody came and knocked on my door. One of the little saying we used to say when we was little, something like that. Anyway, I think it was a little bit different. Anyway, though, because I get sidetracked real quick. Um, Over the course of a summer, over the course of about a month and a half, 2 months or whatever, we cleared out the back of the yard. We was getting pole saws, we was doing all of the things. We got the saw from one of my coworkers at work, which I want to say I still got the saw, which is crazy. Um, all of the things we cleared it out, but then of course, me being who I am, and me not realizing that the Lord can bring you somebody for one thing, and it could be just that. Now I'm like, wow, I'm watching him do this stuff in his yard. I would love to have me a husband that's a doer and a handyman. You know what I'm saying? And maybe this is the guy. Not saying to myself, okay, girl, so this is something that you should be looking for in the future. Now this is it. He is it, right? Because he's here, he's working stuff. Um let me see what not what I can make happen, but let me see what's what. Because I knew that he liked me. I had knew that the time around, you know what I'm saying? And I knew that he was down for whatever. And to be quite honest, it ended up not really being it ended up not even being a thing. And I'll just say, um it ended up not being a thing. That's my son peeping in here. That's why I be closing my door because he looking like, who is she talking to? It ended up being a situation where like he was helping with me with all of the handyman kind of things I needed help with it in my yard. He ended up going into trucking, which I was so happy for him. When he did that, he went into trucking. He was doing trucking school, but what ended up happening was he did the trucking school. He started driving said trucks. He was gone a lot. And so then we had to rely on the text messages. And the text message game was still trash. Ah! And I was like, yeah, wow, this can't be life because again, like I said, I know goodness well I ain't seen you in 2-3 weeks because you out on the road and you think you're gonna give me these same raggedy text messages that you text me when I see you every other day. So I got sick of that and I slowly but surely kind of fizzled on out of that as well. Again, another prime example of, for one, when somebody show you who they are or how they are from the beginning, girl, just believe it. Don't yeah, you got to believe it. And if they show you something different, then they do. But I mean, realistically speaking, he had already shown me that the text message game was trash. And then come to find out, even when I kind of talked about like we need to talk on the phone because these little text messages, I'm tired of you asking me the same 3 questions over and over again. I didn't already told you I'm good. The day is good. The kids is good. What I mean, where's the deep conversation? There's tons of things to talk about, and we ain't talking about none of them. Yeah, he made it clear I ain't even trying to talk on the phone. And yeah, well, you see how that went, child. Again, another prime example of the God will send you the desires of your heart. He will send you what it is that you need, but you got to know that he or they or whoever is there for a specific reason, and not so much for you to make them your husband. Which, like I said, that's I'd be ready. So I'd be thinking, because if I was truly ready, or if I had been in the past, then the Lord would already made it happen. If it ain't happened, then He's saying, "Girl, you still not ready. You still need to heal. You still got things you need to work on. All of the things." And like one of the mothers at church told me, "Girl, it's gonna happen when you least expect it. When you stop thinking about it, and when you stop uh worrying about it, that's when it's gonna happen." So I'm like, Lord, I just want to not worry about it. I want to forget about it. I don't I just don't want to be pressed. And I don't be super, super pressed. Now, I will say that a lot of times in different situations, when I start having a conversation with the guy or I feel like he's a specific man, this could be y'all, this could be in the grocery store. Anyway, if I feel like he's giving me more attention than is necessary, the little piece of unhealed version that I still have that I'm still working on, be like, oh girl, he could be the one. Now I do say that immediately. Now, where the healing comes in, the work and the growth is that I am able to be like, girl, go sit down. That man. Girl, you didn't think about that man. He think about you. He just looked at you twice, okay, or whatever the case might be. And then also, what I had to realize is, okay, he like you. So what? There's so much more to a relationship than just somebody liking you. There's so much more um to a relationship to somebody being handsome and all of the things, right? And that doesn't necessarily qualify them for being. Oh, I gotta hurry up because now my computer want to go dead. Child, the devil. There's so much more to being in a relationship than just those superficial qualities. So you know what I'm saying? Again, it's one of those things where God can bring you something, or he can put something in your vision or whatever, but maybe it's just to expose you to what could be yours one day, as opposed to like, boom, this is it right now. Because if it was, you would know without a shadow of a doubt, because I know that's how it's going to be for me. The Lord is going to show up and he's going to show out. So there's going to be no question in my mind as to this is my person. All right, y'all, because I only got a couple minutes because my computer about trying to go out. But this last guy that I want to talk about, this is the accountant. Also married guy number 2. Separated, but still married. And separated is still married, y'all. Like, we want to act like, oh, he's separated, but look, how long he gonna be separated? Is he gonna be separated for 20 years? And then finally, when y'all finally get to the point where you want to, now you trying to take it a step further, you can't go no further because he's still tied to somebody else. That, yeah, no. The Lord did not bring you nobody husband. Child, again, talking to me. This was a situation where I was trying to get my finances in order. Not that they weren't in order, but I was just trying to do some different things. And I just wanted to have my own person for advice. So I started saying, Lord, I need you to send me somebody who is good with money, Lord. I need you to send me somebody that's going to be better with money than me, that's going to have a better head on their shoulders than me, that can walk me through some things like setting up LLCs, just managing a lot of different aspects. Lo and behold, me and my niece in the daggone store one day. We come out. The guy gives us a card. He gives us the cards. He's an accountant. And I'm gonna be honest, when I first read, this is the African guy. I talked about him before. This is the one that sent me down the whole path of sinning. Okay. But again, I will even say that when I reached out to him, I had business questions. I was coming correct. And let me tell you something, child. When I talked to him that first time, he ain't give two F's about anything related to any of his business. He immediately started telling me about himself, all of the things. Great conversationalist. Love to talk. Very funny on the things. And you already know how that ended up. You already know that's the one I had to block because he had me doing all of the things. And yeah. And it's funny because I blocked him, and I'm sure I told y'all, but he called me on a different number for my birthday the day before to say happy birthday, and I only answered the phone because the number kept calling me over and over again. You know how you get the feeling like, what's going on here? Let me answer. And then he recently just called me a couple other days, so I guess I need to block that number too. Now I didn't answer the phone because the lesson has been learned. We're not equally yoked. We're not on the same kind of time. Like I said, nice guy. But I don't have time to wait out your 2-year plan to get divorced, no matter what the reason is, first off. Second, even if I was willing to do that, we don't have the same goals as far as, I want to be married. He doesn't want to get married again because he done been burnt in this situation that he in now. So I'm not trying to have sex until I'm married. He don't even want to get married. And like I said, if he could get his hands on me, he would be trying to do things to me right now. Okay. And quite frankly, I feel like that's the reason why he keeps reaching out. It ain't for my conversation. Okay. I have great conversation. And I'm not gonna say that. I'm sure he would love to talk to me, but I'm sure there's other things that he would love to do to me as well. And that's why he keeps reaching out, which, like I said, because we're unequally yoked, and he doesn't understand. Like, even him saying, like, that one time was great, but you just don't want it. Yeah, but you don't even realize that it's bigger than what I want. It's more about what God wants, right? And God wants us to approach situations a certain way, and He wants us to wait until we're married to do certain things. And the fact that you don't understand that part shows me that we are unequally yoked and that we're not on the same kind of time. So again, good guy, very handsome. Um, but he's not my husband. And who knows how long it's gonna take for said husband to come on along, right? But I know that what I'm not gonna do is I'm not going to uh take my eye off the prize, if that makes sense. I won't be out here just entertaining some randoms until he comes along. I'm just going to continue to work on myself and continue to heal, because a lot of the things that I've done in the past, and a lot of things that I've put up with, or a lot of things that I've entertained, has been simply because I haven't been the most healed version of myself. It's because I haven't been listening to God's voice. It's because I just haven't been willing to stand, like Pastor just said today, 10 toes down, and what I believe and what I know is right. I've allowed myself to be influenced and all of the things, and I'm no longer willing to do that, because what I care about the most is I I care about pleasing God. So again, like I said, this is more for me than for any of y'all. I know that at some point I'm gonna look back on this and go, girl, I see your growth. And or I'll be at a place, right, where I'm gonna look back and see how much further I've come. Just based off of where I am today saying these things. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'll be married, maybe I'll still be single and just be an even better version of myself at the time, right? Maybe I'll have had a different revelation of different things. And to be honest, it's also possible maybe I'll have met somebody and played around with them or whatever the case might be. And maybe I'll be reminding myself again that girl, he is not your husband. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much it, y'all. For anybody who made it around this long, I didn't even think I was gonna be up here for 45 minutes, but anybody that has made it this long, thank y'all, thank you, thank you. I love y'all for sticking with me. And if you didn't, again, we'll try next time to hold your interest, right? Everybody have a good night, be blessed, and I will talk to y'all next Sunday. All right, bye.